appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll let the crowd die down. Now, Tyrann, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I actually picked your squad to win the Super Bowl this year. You had all the players, pieces,
now you're demanding an explanation.
What happened?
Well, I just thought we were inconsistent for a lot of the year. You know, we felt like we added some pieces to our team that was going to really take us to the next level, but we just didn't seem to play to our potential at all. And even when we did play well, we went up to Seattle and beat them. You know, the season was over with at that point.
I asked Larry Fitzgerald this earlier, but do you guys look at a team like the Falcons, because they were kind of like you guys 2 years ago, oh, they're going to do great, and then they didn't, and it's just everyone was a year early on the prediction. Yeah. Do you guys look at a team like that and think, okay, this upcoming year is our year?
Yeah, I mean, every year we feel like it's our year. And even last year we had a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense. So, like I said, we were just inconsistent for most of the year.
You know, I have a curious, very generic question, because a brother like you can play. Yeah. But I always hear guys sit up there and say, you know, we had the players, we were ready, we just didn't do the right things, whatever. Why don't y'all ever sit there and say, you know what, we got some scrubs, some dudes that just can't play? I mean, why are those statements never ever made? I'm not talking about naming names, but why don't y'all just say sometimes, look, damn it, they better, because we got some scrubs?
Well, I think most of the time you're talking to guys who are leaders on their team. Okay. So I don't think that's appropriate.
All right.
Plus, they don't have too many scrubs. That's why
I know they don't.
Their heads.
I know they don't. I just asked a generic question because when teams don't live up to expectations, there's always some kind of divide or whatever the case may be. When some cats, you just wake up one day and, damn, I can't play. I just can't play.
When you say consistency, you lack consistency. Top 10 defense, top 10 offense. You got stars everywhere you look. Really exceptional players. You, David Johnson, like really exceptional players. But an aging quarterback, by the way, right? Like, how do you mean inconsistency? With all that on the line, going in as a Super Bowl favorite, how does that happen, and what do you mean by inconsistency?
Well, if you look at 2015, you know, when it came down to the end of the games, we made those field goals. We didn't miss them. When the teams were driving on us and we were up by 4 points, we created a turnover to end the game.
Just execution?
Right, absolutely. So we got a lot to work on, and I know we'll add up the right pieces once again this offseason, and hopefully we could keep some of those guys that's going to test free agency.
How disappointing was this season when you take into account the fact that the L.A. Rams are in your division? We know they're sorry. And then obviously the San Francisco 49ers were in your division. They give a new meaning to sorry. So all you had to worry about were the Seattle Seahawks, who were not themselves. Does that elevate the level of disappointment when you consider what was laid out for y'all?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, a couple of years ago, we had one of the toughest divisions in football. And so we definitely feel like we dropped the ball this year. Our only competition was Seattle. And we just really let those guys get a jump start on us, and we just couldn't catch up.
Before we jump to the Super Bowl real quick, LSU, I just got to ask. Coach O is not like the traditional hire down there, right? Can he slow up Saban?
I believe so. You know, he's a player's coach. I know he's going to create a great culture around there. And, you know, he's from the Bayou. So I know he knows what it means to be a Tiger.
Let's get into this game. Who are you rolling with? Patriots or Falcons?
I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Okay. How come you think they'll be able to get it done?
How
come you think they'll be able to get it done?
Well, I just think their offense is rolling right now. We played those guys early in the season. We tried to take Julio out the game, which I thought Pat did a great job, but they have a bunch of other weapons that could beat you. So I think it's going to be a tough challenge for the Patriots.
Talk to me about Atlanta's secondary. I keep bringing that up because that's the only reason that I didn't pick them. I think Atlanta's offense is high-powered. I think they're going to put up 30-plus. My problem is it's a bunch of youngsters that's going up against Brady. That didn't apply to you because
he's 24, you know.
I understand that, but how many honey badgers are there?
Only one.
That's why he's here. That's why he's on first take. Those other dudes ain't. The point is that I'm looking at a 24, 23, 22, 26-year-old going up against Tom Brady. He's in the 7th Super Bowl. They're in there first. What kind of impact do you think that'll have?
Well, I think it's going to be tough on that young secondary for sure. But I'm sure those guys have a bunch of veteran leaders on their team that's going to keep those guys composed. And all you need to do is make one play. You don't need to make all of them.
One play against Brady, that's all it's going to take?
Yeah.
Meantime, and this is...
He can't even say that with a straight face.
I know
Stop
that.
lying.
That's why I asked him.
You know, you can get beaten a lot in a high-scoring game, especially, but you take that ball away. One pick six, right, changes the whole thing.
One pick six.
Meantime, how do you, like, on the one hand, you have the Falcons' incredible offense against the Patriots' very good defense. On the other hand, you have the Patriots' excellent offense against the Falcons' not as much on defense. They've been blitzing a lot. Brady's really good against that. If you can't get pressure without the blitz, you're dead meat against Brady. How does the defense cope with the Patriots' offense?
Well, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I would love to see him win the Super Bowl. I just really want to see Atlanta win more. You know, I worked out with Julio Jones last offseason. He's a great guy. He's having a terrific season once again. And I want to see guys like that win a championship.
How hard is he to cover a guy like that?
Well, I never had to cover him.
No, I know, but I mean, in terms of, just when you're practicing and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's super big. He's super fast. He's one of those smartest guys on the field. He understands how to sit down in zone coverage, and he could beat you up top. It doesn't matter if you put 2 or 3 guys on him.
Is Atlanta going to have to be heavily targeting him, or is it going to be one of those situations where Taylor Gabriel or Mohamed Sanu or Coleman or Freeman, they're going to have to step up and help out? Or how do you see this unfolding?
Well, you know, we played Atlanta early in the season, and it seemed like their offense did better when Julio wasn't on the field. So I think it's going to be a challenge.
I've asked this if he started out by asking this question, but once again, Stephen A., you've left this one for me. If you had the choice, from the Falcons' point of view, since you're picking them, do you want the ball in the offense's hand down a score, or do you want Brady with the ball in his hand and you're up a score? Game's on the line, you start at the 25, you need a touchdown, right? What would you rather?
I wouldn't want Brady with the ball, that's for sure.
So you'd rather be losing with a chance to win and the ball in your offense's hand than leave it up to Brady even if you're winning?
Yes, we've seen Brady do that too many times.
One of the things I focused on is looking at those guys out of the backfield, catching passes out of the backfield. We've talked about Atlanta. We haven't even mentioned Deion Lewis for the New England Patriots and the kind of damage he can do. What do you say to that?
I mean, he's exceptional. You talk about Atlanta, 2 running backs, and you talk about the Patriots, Deion Lewis and James White. I mean, those guys can definitely create mismatches on the football field, and I know Brady and Matt Ryan are looking forward to those.
Tyrann, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here with us.
A lot of fun watching you play.
Have fun out here.